This is to show how to make a streak plate, and this is what a streak plate usually looks like. So this is Serratia marcescens. What you want to write is always your organism name first. I'm going to streak Staphylococcus aureus plus E. coli, and you always want to write or label at the edge so it does not interfere with the observation of the bacteria. If you have written everything in the center, it's difficult to see colonies of bacteria on a plate. So label it at the end, at the edge. Write the date. Today is 8/1/20. What's your name, your initials, so which is GG, and what's the how long you are going to incubate, which is around 48 hours. And you can also write the temperature, which is at 37 degrees centigrade. And this is how you want to first label, and then you can make 4 quadrants, and you can label it as 1, 2, 3. You can label 1, 2, 3, 4, and hopefully we start like that, and if we change it, we can always label it differently. Take your inoculation loop, flame it, take your organism, which is Staphylococcus aureus and E. coli, mix it well. I've already flamed it. You hear the sizzling sound. Mix well with the inoculation loop. Take your sample. Open the plate, which was kept upside down. You can leave this and streak in this quadrant. Again, for streak plate, your main goal is that you are able to isolate the colonies. Now I have 2 organisms, Staph aureus and E. coli. My end goal is that I dilute it down to a point where I can pick individual colonies. So there are different ways to cool down. You can wait actually, or you can just tap your inoculation loop on the side. If you don't hear any sound, then this is good. And then go in the first quadrant. You can go 2-3 times. Close it and flame it again. And again, wait to cool it down. Then go in the second quadrant and take 2 or 3 loops. Again, flame it, open it, and for the fourth quadrant you take some, and then over here make big spaces or leave more spaces for the fourth quadrant. And then that is done. Wait for a few minutes and keep your plate upside down. And that is your streak plate. T streak, make a T. So the very top would be the big quadrant and then a T. So basically you're making a T over here. T streak is similar to quadrant streak. The only difference is your quadrants are 3 instead of 4. So you begin with a heavy inoculation on the top T and then lower down. So after flaming your inoculation loop, take the sample, after streaking, reflame. And as I told you, if you are experienced, you do not have to reflame. You can simply go to the second quadrant. Go to the second quadrant. Reflame. Let it cool down. Then go to the third quadrant. And reflame. Place your inoculation loop vertically, and then you can label it as 1, 2, 3. So this is your first quadrant, this is second, and this is your third quadrant.
Hi everyone, today we're going to be making our observations on our 2 streak plates here. Just as a quick refresher, we made 2 different streak plates, one a T-streak and one a quadrant streak on 2 Na plates or nutrient agar plates. And we used a combination of Staph aureus and E. coli. So let's start with our T-streak plate. And here we have in the first section a thick bacterial lawn, and this is because the concentration of bacteria is so high that we don't have any distinct colonies. In section 2, we begin to see those distinct colonies. What we have here, these smaller yellow ones, those are going to be our Staph aureus. And then these cloudier ones, the larger cloudy ones, those are going to be our E. coli. When we go to section 3, we see a few Staph aureus colonies that are definitely far enough away from anything else that we can say these are isolated. And then if we open it up, we can get a better look at the colonies. Now moving on, let's look at our quadrant streak plate. Once again, in that first quadrant, we see a thick bacterial lawn. In quadrant 2, once again, we see those colonies, but they're very close to everything else. We do see the starts of an E. coli colony here that looks to be close to isolated. Then moving on to quadrant 3, we see the isolation of E. coli here, and then numerous Staph aureus. And then in quadrant 4, all we have is that one Staph aureus at the bottom there, and the rest of the quadrant is empty. And if we open it up, we can get a better view.